Hello, this is a video that provides faculty with an overview of how to create videos and use playback quizzes within YuJa. Videos in YuJa can be created to be used inside or outside of D2L. If you are using it outside of D2L, you would want to use this link and use the single sign-on option to log in with your Gordon email username and password. A playback quiz doesn't have actual quiz questions in it, but it does allow for a D2L grade to be generated and passed into the D2L gradebook based upon the percentage of the video that the student has watched. Now, video analytics are available for all quizzes, whether or not a playback quiz has been created for that video, but in order for the percentage to populate as an actual grade item in D2L, the instructor would need to create that playback quiz. There are two options for a playback quiz. The first option is for the grade to be the percentage of the video watched, such as 90%, 85%, 100%, 20%, etc. The other option is more of a full credit or no credit option. The teacher determines a threshold for the percentage of the video to be watched. If the student watches that threshold, then they get the full score of 100. If they don't watch that threshold, then they get a 0. So for example, if the threshold is set to 80% and I watch 70%, I'll get a 0. If I can continue to watch the video and eventually get to 80%, then it'll repopulate my grade to giving the full score of 100. If you're using YuJa outside of D2L, you would just want to navigate to the link and over in the corner, choose Gordon State College Single Sign-On and log in with your Gordon email username and password. If you're using YuJa inside of Brightspace by D2L, you'd want to navigate to your course, choose Tools and Resources, and then YuJa Media Library. From there, you're going to open up your media library, which is where all your videos will be linked. Here you can see that I have several videos either created myself or pulled in from YouTube. So in this case, I'm actually going to want to create my own video. So here I'm going to choose Create Recording. From here I can choose the two different types of recorders. You have the downloaded recorder, which is fully featured, but then you also have the browser capture recorder, which is less fully featured but easier to use because it just opens up in a browser. It does not require a download. This one, the fully featured one, does actually require a full download. So just for the purpose of making this video, I'm just going to use the browser capture, which is a light version, but it still pretty much covers everything that you would want to do or need to do. I'll then give my recording a title, and then I'll choose Start. Now it's going to open up the Browser Capture Studio, and keep in mind this is using the browser, which is the light version. If you had selected the other, it would prompt you to download and it would open up as an application on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and allow for it to pull my camera and pull my microphone so that I can use this when doing my recording. So over on the side, you have different options for your recording. You have the ability to record your camera, which is just your webcam, a recording of yourself. You have the ability to record just your screen. So in that case, I want to make sure to select the screen I would like to record. I have multiple screens on this particular computer, so I can allow for it to record my screen, or I can actually choose to record both. And so in that case, it's going to record me as a thread or as a stream option, and then it's going to record my actual screen, which can be whatever I pulled up on that screen, as a second stream. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to record both so that you can see it. Next, I want to make sure that I have selected my audio, that audio is on, and I want to make sure that I'm picking the microphone that I would like to use. It is preferred that if you have a headset with a microphone on it, which is what I'm using, it will probably give you better audio quality. If not, you can use your webcam to do a recording, but just make sure that you have the correct one picked. Same thing with your video option. Some of you may have multiple video inputs, maybe an external webcam or an internal webcam. You just want to pick the one that you want to use there. So once we have this ready, we're going to choose to start recording. Alright, so I've started my recording. So this particular screen is just, I've pulled up a PowerPoint, so I can choose to start it from beginning, and then it's just going to show my PowerPoint, and I would just talk through it very much like a voiceover PowerPoint, go through my different slides. Notice here that it's counting the video. It's showing how long I've recorded. Now in the browser version of the capture, it does not have a pause button. Just keep in mind that when you press this, it's actually going to end the recording for you. So often what you might do if you're using the browser recorder is if you do mess up, or you know that you're going to want to cut something out of the video because you can't actually edit it in a little bit, you might just pause and stop talking for a second, and then you'll be able to find that in your video editor and then just trim that part out. So I have recorded on top of this PowerPoint, but keep in mind I can record on top of multiple things. Anything that is on your screen will be recorded, and you can also see here actually on the recorder that it's showing it. So I can pull up a web page, a Word document, a PDF, a PowerPoint, a specialized software maybe that I want to show the students how to use. So anything that I pull up here and walk myself through is going to be recorded in my video. So when I'm finished recording, I'm just going to press End Recording, and it's going to allow me to see it, and then I'm going to choose to upload it into my YuJa media library. I do want to wait until it gets fully across here with the blue, so it tells me that my upload is finished, and there I can exit out of this browser and return to my main media library. Notice that it is doing the recording and it is processing it. It does take a couple of minutes to do that, so you may want to go and do something else or edit another one of your videos, but it does take just a couple of minutes for it to actually record into the in your YuJa media library. So while we're waiting for that one, I'll go ahead and create a new recording, and I'll just do this one as a one screen so that you can kind of see what it looks like if you only have one screen and you're doing a recording. It does look a little bit different than if you have multiple screens. So this is all the same. I'm choosing my camera, I'm choosing my screen, I'm choosing both, I'm allowing for the different options. So in this case, I'm going to pick the actual screen that I'm currently using so that you'll be able to see how that looks. So I'm going to pick screen 1 here. So notice when I'm recording on top of the screen that I'm actually have YuJa pulled up on, which is going to be typical if you have a one screen computer, like if you're just using a laptop or something. You're going to see this, and this lets you know that you are sharing your screen. You kind of have a screen within a screen within a screen within a screen. And so that lets you know that you are sharing your screen. So at that point, I would choose to start recording. And I'm seeing again a screen within a screen within a screen, which is fine. Now I'm doing my recording, and then I would just open up on my computer whatever I want to share my screen. So as I'm recording in this regard, I'm only seeing my screen that I'm recording on. I'm not actually seeing my own webcam or seeing my own recording because I'm just on that one screen. So then once I'm done, I can just minimize that, and then I would stop the recording. So we'll see in the playback how it kind of looks, and you'll be able to see that while I didn't see it while I was recording, at some point it was actually just recording my screen. So when you see that screen within screen within screen within screen, when you're sharing your screen on just one particular, if you only have a one screen device, that is the correct view that you are wanting to see. So I'll choose to upload this one just so that you can see the process again. It's going to upload very quickly, but it does take a little bit longer to actually process in YuJa. So both of those are processing. Once they get done processing, you have the ability to edit the video as well as see different options here to add a playback quiz or add a content quiz or all of those different things. If you hover over one of the tiles of your video, you'll see that once it has finished producing, you have a lot more options versus while it's processing you see you don't have nearly as many. So once it's finished processing, you'll see the thumbnail, and you can actually go in there and do your different components of your video. So let's say that we wanted to trim our video. There were parts of our recording that we wanted to cut out. So you can do that under Edit. When you choose Edit, it's actually going to open the video editor, and here we can do our trimming, and we can do a couple of extra things within our video that we just recorded. So if you notice here, we actually have 3 streams going. We have our webcam recording, we have our screen recording, and we have our audio recording, which that's what those blue lines are, is my voice actually speaking on the recorder. If we had only used one stream, maybe we only recorded the screen and didn't record our video, then we would only see 2 of those here. So say that we wanted to trim our video. So like right here, if you notice, there's not a lot of there's not a lot of speaking going on because there is no voice lines here. So maybe I wanted to cut that part of the video out. So I would move my playhead to that area, I would choose the trim button here, the cut feature, and then I would just pull it out, and whatever is in gray is going to be the part that's cut out of the video once I save it. I might want to cut a different section, so I may want to also cut this. So I could choose that, cut, slide it over, and then both of these sections would be cut out. So that's a common thing that you would probably do in your videos. Another common thing that you may consider is adding in indexes. So we'll choose this area here. Now keep in mind it does have to be put on advanced mode. If it's not on advanced mode, you're not going to see those other options here on the side. So we'll slide advanced mode on and then choose the indexes. And this is almost like bookmarks, to where after the student watches the video, they might choose to rewatch the video and jump to specific parts of the video just to kind of review. So that may be helpful for them to have those bookmarks. So we would come here and we would just place our cursor where we would like for the index to be added, and then we would choose add an index, and then I can title that index. So I might say intro to YuJa here, and then I would maybe move my cursor to another slide or another area of the video and say, okay, well at this point I would like to add an index, and here we're going to be looking at X, Y, and Z. A great example of this is if you're making a video and you're talking about different topics. You might have a topic area for, if you're, for example, talking about the anatomy of the body in one particular video, and you talk about the heart at a particular section, the lungs at a particular section, the intestines at a particular section, you might have different parts of it. Or if you're doing kind of a book review and you're talking about the characters and the plot and then the theme, you might add indexes to where you're talking about those particular subtopics within your video, so that the student can jump to just those particular parts of the video. Under captions, you have the ability to add in your own captions, but keep in mind that by default, all of your videos that you create will be auto-captioned by YuJa, and you will actually get an email from YuJa saying when those captions have been produced and auto-created for you. You can go back in and edit them if you want to, but you probably don't want to or need to create your own captions. So there's other options here, but for the most part, you're just going to trim your video and add in those indexes if you want. Then we're going to save. And then notice we can rename this video. By default, it's going to name it the title and then edited at the end, so that it does give it a different name, which is very helpful to know that this was the video that was edited. You can choose to replace it, so the original video will get overwritten by this edit, or you can choose to save it as a new video. I would encourage you to save it as a new video with edited on the end, just in case you do ever need to revert back or edit the original again. So I'm going to leave it with edited at the end and save as a new video. So as I do that, it's actually going to have to reproduce the video, so it will take a second for those for it to process and that to take effect. But as I return to the media library, notice that I have my edited video with edited on the end being produced, and I still have my original available. So now, before we start talking about quizzes, let's look at a couple of more settings here. So to get to more of the settings other than these quick links, we can choose more. And then over on the side, once it has fully produced, we have some additional information. So we can rename the video if we want to. We can actually link documents to this video, such as the native PowerPoint itself. If we want that to be connected to the video, I can actually add it as a document. Under thumbnails, I can pick the thumbnail I would like to be as part of the thumbnail for my video, or I could actually upload a custom one if I want. Under actions, the main thing that you would do here is you can choose to move the media to a particular folder. You can also choose to duplicate that media, which is just making an exact copy of it. Maybe if you want to do an edit on it, or you would like to add a different quiz to a certain video but don't want to edit the video itself, you have that option. And then you have links. Now the links this is going to be the outside link that you would use if you're using YuJa in the videos outside of Brightspace by D2L. So this is going to give you the direct link to the video. Now if you add in quizzes, you're going to actually get a separate link for those quizzes, so that if you use the quiz link, it's going to give them the video with the quiz embedded in. Under links, you're just going to get the native link without the quiz embedded in. So that's available to you, as well as you can always download the video mainly as an MP4 so that you can have access to it offline. You can choose to add in the ability to add in comments to your video. You can have it to where everyone can see the comments and everyone can make the comments. If you don't want comments on your video, the students to add comments or you to add comments, you can just change both of them to content owner only, and then you just yourself, who's the content owner, not make any comments, and you can't and no one can see them or make them. So that may help as well. Or you can just totally disable the commenting ability. Analytics is where you're going to be able to see who has watched your video. This is where you're going to get the data, and again, this is going to be data available whether or not you have a quiz built into the video or not. It's just whether they're using the direct link to the video or if they are using it built into D2L. You're going to be able to see how much of the video each person has watched. And then we have the quizzes feature, which we're going to go to in a second. We have two types of quizzes we can make. We can make the content quiz and we can make a playback quiz. We can actually make one of each for a particular video. In most cases, you're probably just going to have one or the other. The content video quiz, labeled as create video quiz, that's going to be where you actually add in real questions, multiple choice, true, false, that type of thing. The playback quiz is going to be the one where they are getting a grade based upon the percentage of the video that they have watched. And then lastly, we have the accessibility where we can edit or look at our captioning. So for right now, we're just going to close this because that was just a general overview of the extra options. Now let's create a playback quiz for this particular video. So we're going to choose More, and then we're going to choose Quizzes, and we're going to choose to create a playback quiz. Then we'll give the quiz a name. I highly encourage you naming it the name of the video and then playback quiz on the end, just like so. Then you can choose, like we talked about before, how you would like the grade, what type of grade you would like to come over. So the most straightforward way is the second option here, give credit based upon percentage watched. So if I watch 70% of the video, I get a 70. If I continue to watch the video later on a different date and it bumps it up to 80%, YuJa will update my D2L grade to 80, so and so forth. So it'll just kind of update it based upon the percentage that they have watched. The other option is more of a all or none, to where they're given full credit based upon the threshold. So the threshold is set to 80, but you can change it. So in this case, if I change it to 20, if I watch 10% of the video and never continue to watch anymore, the D2L gradebook is going to populate as a 0 because I never met that threshold. However, once I get it to 20%, or if I get over 20%, 25, 30, up to 100%, then it's going to update my grade in the D2L gradebook to be 100. So again, this is all or nothing. They get nothing if they don't reach this threshold. They get all the points once they do reach that threshold. So it's up to you to choose which one you would like, and then you would just choose create. Now notice here, and it can be a little bit confusing, that you can actually create a content quiz for this exact video in addition to your playback quiz, in addition to having the native video without any quizzing in it at all. So once this playback quiz has been created, if you choose this drop down here, this is the direct link, and again, this is only for outside of D2L. If I want to use this outside of D2L, this is the link I need to provide for the playback quiz. So have the ability to track that grade data in addition to the video. If I only want the video, I would still come to links and get the video. So this is the link without the quiz. And then if you go to quizzes, this is the link with the quiz. And if I were to create a content video quiz, I would have yet another link to contend with and potentially use. However, we're going to pull this into Brightspace by D2L, so we don't actually have to worry about linking in any quizzes. Something that you may want to do before you actually pull your playback quiz in is to check your settings for your quiz. And this is very important because once one student has watched the video, you won't be able to edit the settings. So we'll go ahead and edit those now. So we'll choose edit, and I'm given the ability to edit this quiz because no one has started viewing it. And then since this is just a playback quiz and I only want to look at the settings, I'll choose settings, and then I have some different options here. The majority of these pertain more to content related quizzes, but there are a couple of settings that you may want to look at for playback quizzes. The first one is disable fast forwarding, and that's going to disable the student from being able to scrub through the video, which is important because the percentage of the video watched is going to be truly watched milliseconds. So they may scrub through the video and then get a 20% grade and say, but I did watch the whole video, but they actually scrubbed through pieces of it. So it may help if you disable it so that they know they've watched the entire video and that reflects their grade. This should automatically be selected based upon what you input just a minute ago for the playback quiz. You can make that edit if you want to, but again, this is just letting them letting you choose if you want it based upon the percentage of the video that they've watched, or if you want to set a threshold. There are some important settings here in the gradebook options that you want specifically selected for playback quizzes. So in this case, you want to record only the most recent attempt or to record all attempts. In this case, we're only going to leave it on record most recent attempt because it will overwrite their current their previous grade. So like if I watched 10% and then I came back on another day and watched 20%, it's going to overwrite the 10% with the 20% and only show me the 20%, which is really what I'm interested in seeing here. So we're going to choose record only the most recent attempt. Then we have allow unlimited attempts. We do want to check that because we want them to be able to watch up to the full percentage of the video at different dates or times. If not, it's going to require them to watch the entire video in one setting, which is probably not what you're intending. So in this case, it would allow them to watch maybe up to 10% the first day, and then maybe later on that evening they want to watch some more and they can pick up where they left off and get up to 20%, 30%, so on, so they can watch the video in pieces or in increments. So we'll choose allow unlimited attempts, which really in this case means unlimited views. Then we want to make sure to leave it on the most, send the most recent attempt to the LMS, which is going to send the most recent attempt to the D2L gradebook. And again, that's going to allow for the video percentage to update based upon how much of the video that they've watched. If you change it to first attempt, then once if I watch it 10% on day one and then come back and watch 20, add 10 more percent and end up at 20% the next day, and so on and so forth. It's only going to record that first attempt. So these are the default settings for a playback quiz, and in most cases you're going to want to leave them as is. So we'll save that. We'll save our video. And then we'll choose when we want this video to be open and what courses we would like for it to be in. So I'll choose whichever courses I'm going to be using it. You can put a close date, but keep in mind that if you copy this quiz over to another semester, you'll have to come in here and edit these close dates in YuJa. So you may want to just put it on a no close date, and then that way when it gets copied over, they'll be able to, you don't have to change the dates, it'll already be open to the students. So then we'll choose post, and now we'll be able to pull this video into D2L. So we'll go to our content area, and then you would just maybe create a module for it or put it in a module that already exists. And then you're just going to choose existing activities. We're going to choose YuJa Media Chooser, and then we're going to be able to pick our video. Now keep in mind that media is going to show your videos without quizzes in them. So you'll notice that there actually is a video of this exact one that I'm going to be using, but if I pull it in under media, that is the video without the quiz. So it will track the analytics if I pull this one in, but it's not going to report it as a D2L grade item. So really what I need to do is choose the quizzes filter, and that is going to include content quizzes and playback quizzes. So in this case, if you notice, I have that exact same video, but it's playback quiz. And again, this is the trick to naming your videos with playback quiz or content quiz on the end, so you're well aware of as to what is particularly in that quiz. So I'll click this one, I'll insert the content, and now it's going to insert that video in. So now it's in there. Notice it's an external learning tool. If I go to the grades area, you'll see it'll automatically make a grade item for it so that when students start watching the video, it will automatically start populating. So this grade item has already been created. As a student, to watch the video, I'll just come in and select it, and then I can just start playing the video. As they play the video, they can open closed captioning, which again is auto captioned by YuJa right here, or they can open up the indexes if they like. I didn't actually include indexes in this particular video. These indexes were like the bookmarks that allow them to jump to different parts of the video. They can also use Smart Search to search different key terms, and it will jump to that part of the video that has those key terms embedded in. So if I search the word video, there are several different places where I said the word video, or the word video is spoken in the video. So they're able to click on that and jump to that particular part of that video as well. So two different ways to look at or find specific key terms. When they are watching this video, they can choose to flip it. So by default, it's going to be that the webcam is in the smaller corner, but I can move this around as necessary. But I can actually flip it to where the webcam is in the main area and then the presentation is in the back, so they can flip that around. Or they can choose different viewpoints if they want it to be more equally, or if they want it to just be the screen and not see the webcam, or either or there. And of course, if they want to watch the video in full screen, they can just choose this and that will actually open it up full screen. If I've watched parts of the video and I come back to it, notice that it gives me the option to resume from where I left off, and that is how it's able to update the gradebook of maybe I've watched 10% of the video, I pick up where I left off, watch 10 more percent, and now I've watched a total of 20%, which is what's going to be populated into the D2L gradebook. Back in as the instructor in the media library, and remember I'm getting to that by going to tools and resources and then YuJa media library. There are actually two ways to see how much of the video the student has watched, since there is a playback quiz here. The first way to do that doesn't require the playback quiz. This is just available for all videos. Is to come to the tile, choose more, and then to go to analytics. And this is just going to show how much of the video each student has watched. Keep in mind that this is the part that doesn't talk to the D2L gradebook, hence the need for the playback quiz. So we'll choose more to kind of expand it out and give us more information. So here we're able to see how much, generally speaking, in summary, how much of the video was watched. We see that people kind of started out watching the video and then stopped watching the video. We can see how many views there are, how many unique views that there are, which is only one at this point, and the percentage of the video that they have watched, which is not quite 10% at this point. I can come and choose specific under playback. I can see specifically who has watched the video. So we see the name of the person, their total number of views, their total number of playback, the percentage of the playback, when they first started watching the video, and then their last attempt at watching the video. So we see that these are the roughly the same time, which means they only watched it once. Under the Technology tab, this might be some useful data to you. It will show you what browser the students were using. Of course, there's only one view here to look at, but it'll show them what browser they were generally using to watch the video, as well as what system they were mainly using to watch the video. Now, however, let's go and look particularly at the playback quiz, which is going to be in the D2L, or I'm sorry, in the YuJa gradebook. So we'll go back to our main area just so you can see the steps. We're in our main YuJa media library. We're going to choose the tile here, update usage and analytics, and then over here in the gradebook area is where we're actually going to see our playback quiz. This is also where we would see the data related to our content quiz. So we're going to choose groups, and we're going to find the course that it was placed in, and then we're going to find the quiz in particular that we were looking at, and then we're able to get the results from there. And so here we can see that this one student has watched 9%. You see that it hasn't updated the score. It does take an hour or so for this to update. It'll update here in the YuJa Media Library, and when it does so, it should also automatically push it over to the D2L gradebook. If it doesn't, and you see that it's updated here as 9, and you want to go ahead and manually push that over, you can choose that here, and then sync gradebook, and then on demand sync. That will manually push it over, but you wouldn't want to do that till the actual score has been updated here as well. So that is an overview of how to create a YuJa video, how to edit the YuJa video, and how to create specifically a playback quiz, which is a little bit different than a content quiz.